glasses down so I can see. I hope everybody's had a chance to look at the mini meeting of the last board meeting that we posted along with this reminder. If you haven't, take a minute after this and look at that. It's on the reminder that Scott sent out Monday.
Over there, I don't have one of the things I need.
We got to get everybody on mute. So take a look at that. It'll explain a lot of things about what we're talking about tonight. We've had Bob there, is Bob Becker, now known as Lenore on the screen, has moved to Colorado, and he was the president, I was vice president. So somehow I moved on to be president at this point. And I'd like to introduce the people that are now the new officers that we voted on at the board meeting we had on the 10th, I believe. We have Al, who is our treasurer. He remains our treasurer. We didn't have to vote him in. We have Brent Breval, and Brent's not on here yet, or maybe on the phone hiding. He is vice president, and I hope you get to meet Brent. He really is a person that's been out for a lot of the work days we've done, and quite a good reference for a lot of things. He's an engineer and civil engineer, and we're going to be very helpful in some of the things we do in the future, I think. I have Mark Reinhardt and Jerry Ward. Wave, guys, if you're there. Where's Mark? Wave, Mark. Mark's got his mouth hanging. Turn your sound on, Mark. There's Mark. Anyway, they're going to be the co-committee for the conservation chair, and both of them have been very much a help while I was conservation chair, and I thought they would really carry on a good job here. We have a new secretary, and we thank Beverly for her service and what she did for us in a great 2 years. And thank you, Beverly. Yes, applause or welcome them. And I like that idea. And we have now Meg Gallagher, our past president from a couple of years ago, has decided that she would do that after I begged her to become secretary. And she's been doing a good job so far. I think we covered everybody. Oh, Pete has volunteered, Pete Koenig has volunteered to work on a new position. We're going to try a librarian for the chapter. We have a lot of books that we're always raffling off books. And I suggested that we start a circulating system, and that Pete had some input on that, and he's working on it. And by the next board meeting, we hope to have the system in place where he'll have a list of books that we have. And if people start returning books to us, we'll have even more. And you can order a book and Pete will bring it to the next meeting, and then you can return it back in the future, which I think will be a lot of savings rather than buying all the books and reading them once. So we'll see how that works out in the future, but that's the new position we have. We're also looking for a greeter at the meetings, and Charlie, where you there? Charlie has still agreed to do that at the meetings when we get new people coming in. And Brent Baval has agreed, the vice president has agreed to follow up on people that are new members, whether they're come into the meeting or they join the chapter via the website or the TU website. And they'll be getting a letter and a welcome and some of the information about the chapter, which will be much nicer than what we've been doing in the past. So those are the new things that we have going on in the board and on the chapter organizers. I hope I haven't missed anybody. I've looked over my list and no. Okay. Money and fundraising is the next topic I have to talk to you about. And tonight, we know that We haven't had a raffle for the spring raffle for the rod raffle as usual. And that's due to COVID virus because Winston rods didn't work for a long while and haven't sent us the rod blank. So we're going to work through that and try to get a blank in here within the next couple of weeks. I hear from Winston, they're back working, and get a rod built. And we're exploring new ways to do a sweepstakes instead of a raffle, which was kind of on the verge of being illegal the way we were doing it. So TU has gotten new places for us to look and talk to people about that. And we're going to next week look into that system that they have come up with and see about doing online rod raffles for us. And I hope this works out nicely. Tom Farrar will be doing the rod, and it's a 10-foot Winston boron rod 4-weight for doing what I'd call Euro nymphing, but I like to think about it more as driftless nymphing. And Jerry's telling me, what, 4-weight? Yeah, 4-weight. And 3. Yeah, anyway, the rod is coming in, the blank, within some time, and we should get that done. It's already been paid for. So we'll have something to look forward to in the future for that, for the first one. After that, we've got some different raffle prizes that we've bought. We've got some cards, gift cards from the Driftless Angler that we're going to be working on raffling off in lieu of what we don't expect to be is a Christmas banquet raffle party. We have secured the 5th of December at Max McGraw for a Christmas banquet, if all goes well. But at the board meeting, we decided that due to the coronavirus and the people being shut down, we're not going to go around and beg from people to get any new prizes for Christmas. We're going to try to rely on these raffles and see how it goes. And if that works out, great. We'll see how it happens, and we're going to continue to change course as things go along to meet whatever happens. So if we tell you one thing one day and the next month it's something different, don't be surprised. We're going to do this the best and the easiest way we can find. And to keep money raising going, we'll see if that doesn't work out a little bit better. So hang in there for those things. The styles, Jerry and Mark are working on some styles, and we have places to put some new styles in. So Jerry, Scott, Jerry, can you unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about that? And you too, Scott, wherever Scott went, he just disappeared.
You mean Mark? But anyway, yes, we got. We've been contacted on.
Unmute you.
We've been contacted on a couple places on that thing. Jerry had sent something out, I believe, earlier about Citron Creek, which is northwest of Steuben. It was not on my DeLorean, but he showed me, and I went to Google Maps, and sure enough, there's a nice big creek there, but it didn't show on mine. And we've got, as I recall, Jerry, 2 of them. 2 styles to be put in there sometime August, September. They're doing a lot of rehab work on the stream as it is now. And then we were contacted by somebody on the thing, and I know it bounced around through 2 or 3 people before you forwarded to me, Jerry, about doing something on Dutch Creek, which is, it's up towards, if you go out of Coon Valley north on 162, it's about 14, 15 miles north of Coon Valley. So most of you know where that is. And they have 3 styles that need to be replaced. They're pretty much old things. They look like in the photos that we got, they were logs that were put in there and put across, and of course with the nails or whatever type of thing they use to attach them, it started rotting away, and so they're pretty well gone. we've done that. We've got an inventory of the amount of material that we have. Jerry provided that. He got that from where it's being stored in the barn up there. I have some 2x6s and 2x8s that have been stored in my crawl space since 1991, and I've got to go in there and count those out. Once we get that, we'll know a little better how many of them that we can actually do. But we've got at least 5 projects on the board, and I'm sure a plethora of other ones that are needed. It's just on going to be on time, materials, and labor, and what we can do with the coronavirus. As I said, we bought some shields for those of you who came in. We got face shields, look like this. They're really nice, comparatively speaking to what the other ones had. Thanks to Pete Koenig, because he traced these down from a company. They're not industrial quality, but they will sure work for what we need them for, and they don't fog up. They're nice. And then we've got your regular old face masks. We bought 100 of those, you know, for anybody who volunteers, any workers and things like that. So we'll be able to give at least a modicum of protection there. And as Jerry said, you know, if we do the things like this, I mean, as Mark and I've said, you know, whenever you're standing on there and an auger or 2 things like that going down on that thing, you're maybe 30 inches apart. There's no way in the world you're going to get further apart and get that hole dug. So if we do that and everybody, you know, pays attention what we have the hand sanitizer, things like this. While we're working, we usually have long sleeves, long pants, gloves, hats, and everything else. We've done just about everything we can to protect any volunteers that are out there. And I feel fairly confident that everybody will walk away without any problems.
Great, great, thank you. Mark Reinhardt, you may want to school Jerry about what you think about those boards under his crawl space, how they're going to last or not, if they've been there since '91. But I'll let you guys talk about that. You're the carpenter. Talk about that later. The next thing on the item is Bob Majewski's and Trout in the Classroom, but I don't see Bob here. Bob, are you here anywhere? No. Okay. Let me tell you what I know. Come the end of March, we got into a tight situation where these schools were closing down, and we're going to have nobody to take care of the trout in the classroom anymore. So 2 of the schools, the one that Beth has with brown trout, and the one was in, what was that in, Bob? Help me out.
We're in Huntley High School and
yeah, the high school. Those 2 teachers, Beth and that high school teacher out there, took, and because she lived near Kinnickinnick, took the fish to the creek and put them in at an early stage. But that's all they could do. But at least they were saved.
Yeah, they dropped them off at the bridge there before you could get into the conservation area.
Yeah, and which is a big save for us. And thanks to Beth for that one. The brook trout that were in Algonquin School, Bob Majewski and I salvaged those, brought them out to Belvedere, and put them in the big tank that's out in Belvedere, the one that looks like the hot tub, because she was going to be able to keep it running for a good while, because she has chickens and animals and mice and things that she had to come in and tend to every day. So those trout that we put in from Algonquin School were about 2 inches. The ones she had in the tank out there were 4 inches long. There was quite a size difference because of that tank. It's amazing. So about May 8th, my wife and I went out, because she said she had to start shutting things down, gathered the fish out from the 2, and took them to Fox Bluff where Mark Reinhardt helped me, and we carried the fish in in a cooler down and put them right in the middle pond. So that was the end of that. But interestingly enough, you still could tell quite a difference in size in the brook trout from one tank to the other. They never did kind of catch up. But I thank Mark for the help on that one. That was pretty nice. At the time we were there and before, I'd like to, I don't know if how many of you have seen Fox Bluff, but
Am I unmuted now?
yes, you are, Scott.
Oh, great. What a pain.
Okay, so I'd like to show you, I'm going to try to share a screen and I'll show you something about Fox Bluff. And we'll see what happens here. Well, there it went. And now what are you looking at, Scott?
Right now, it's just a black screen,
Yeah, there you
but
go.
it says it's, there you go. You got it.
Okay, what you're looking at is white trillium. And if any of you guys have helped me out there and worked with us, you know that I kept this one hillside spot and said, don't cut that, don't cut that, don't cut that. This is why. These are white trillium. These are rare as hen's teeth in this region of the country. And that hillside contains about 200 of them. So it is quite covered and quite rare to see this. My wife has never seen anything with that much concentration, and she's seen a lot more wildflowers in areas than I'll ever see. But it's quite a sight. And if you ever get out there in early May, just go and take a look. It's beautiful there. So I'll get back and out of that, but let's see. There we go. I did want to share that with you. It's one of the gems over there. There's many of them, but that one's a quite rare sight to see in that much concentration for those flowers. We have one problem with those. Right under the brush pile we put over there, they're coming up through. So come next fall or early next spring, we're going to have to move that brush pile out before we burn. So Jerry and I will try to get our burns in the wintertime. Jerry Ward and I, we're going to do some burns over there, and we have to move that stuff off there, because if you put a brush pile burn there, it'll sterilize the ground and ruin a lot of the bulbs for those trillium. So we don't want to do that. So that's another project come next spring that we'll be hitting up on. Fishing reports and things to do. Well, I tell you, I have been fishing, and a lot of other people have been fishing, and we've been taking trips singly in our cars and maybe meeting up in the driftless area, mostly the Fenimore area type streams, and finding out that what we're doing is staying 6 feet apart and still having a good time and not seeing anybody complaining about being there. And sometimes it's up and back on one tank of gas and not even stopping at gas stations as much as we can. So if you're interested, it's working out very nicely. If you want to see the Blue River, it's working, fishing very good. And I know that we're going to hear some stuff from Tim tonight. He should be here in just shortly. But I have fished the green. I just got a report from Michael Delude. I think Michael's on here. And he was over, fished the green on Wednesday and did quite well. It was a little stained. And he also has been fishing a place called Richland Creek, which is across the river from on 61 and across from Boscobel, a little bit north, called Richland Creek. And he did very well there from his report. And that's a kind of a hidden creek, but it's kind of a neat place. Anybody else that's been out? Let me hear from you while we're waiting on Tim. He should be
Jerry,
here
Jerry,
shortly.
there's no fish here in Colorado.
Yeah, yes. We don't even want to talk to Bob because I saw the pictures. And I wish I could.
Just about a couple.
It's not on this computer. He's got about shown me about a 22-inch brown that he caught a couple of days ago. And
Amazing what those big treble hooks will do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You just drag across the bottom and it hooks them in the tail.
Oh, you put some corn on there.
So this is Fred. I'm with the Cooley Region TU, and first of all, thanks for all the work you guys do on behalf of the driftless. We really appreciate it here. I can tell you, I've been all over the Coon Valley area, and I'm not a very good caster, and I've been catching a lot of sticks. But I will say that the parachute Adams in like 16 or 18 have been catching browns all the time, up and down that area. So if you have a chance to get out there, I've had great luck, just a single dry fly, top water, doesn't matter the time of day. So anyway, thank you again for everything. And if you come out this way, let me know.
Thank you, Fred, for that. And I hope to hear from Tim shortly. So if anybody else has any other experiences lately, let me hear from you or questions. I think go ahead and unmute and fire questions away because we've got to wait on Tim. He said
Jerry,
he's ready early.
Black Earth Creek has been flooded.
Which one?
Black Earth Creek has been flooded.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty bad. I did get out to Gordon Creek. It was stained, but I caught maybe half a dozen in one morning. It's been fishable, but we've been getting a lot of rain up here and a couple of flood warnings. So, you know, some of the local streams are really not fishable.
How about Fred? How about up your way? How's the things that are how things looking in the streams?
Yeah, I haven't been able to get out the last few days. The good news is the smaller streams really clear quickly here. And so I think we're looking at some warm, nice days next week. And I would expect that they'll start running a little lower, really clear, and it'll be good fishing. But I haven't been able to get out in the last few days.
Yep. Carol, have you looked at the blue lately?
I haven't been to the Blue lately, but I am going there this weekend. But I have fished Big Springs and 6 Mile, and that's been very good. We've had quite a bit of pressure, but still everybody's just so wonderful about keeping far apart, and it's been good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Any other questions about what's going on? Any suggestions about speakers for the next time we have one of these meetings? Any suggestions you have about how to conduct one better? Now, somebody's got an idea. Give me a hint over there. None. Oh, this is the quietest bunch, huh? All right.
Well, you know what? Here's one, Jerry. Is got an email from Jeff Renke this afternoon, and he's in charge of the project Healing Waters out of North Chicago, and he put together this great slideshow, PowerPoint slideshow with music of all the vets from the last year in fishing and so forth. I was mentioning about sending that around, but he has to scrub all the guys' names out of there. And so he's planning on doing that in the next day or so. And it's just something to watch. It's really neat. So the vets are pretty much locked down. Hopefully we'll get out this fall with them. And as a speaker is Jeff, and that slideshow might not be bad. Maybe not for a whole meeting, maybe for about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But, could be interesting.
Okay, that sounds like a good suggestion. I'll contact him and see what we have going
Sure.
for the next time. And I don't know when we're going to do this again. Maybe not till August. We don't normally meet in the summertime, but let's try it out. And right now, I'm going to give Tim a call and see where he's at and if he's going to join us. How's that sound? So don't go away here for a second. I hope he's coming.
I sent him an email, but no response yet.
No response, huh? Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't have his phone number. Carol, do you have it?
I texted him as well, and I didn't get a response. Let me see what number it is that I have for him.
Okay. Would you want to just call him and see if he can't get on or anything?
I will call him.
See where he's at?
Yeah.
While she's doing that, let me tell you a story about the Kinnikinnick and all the fish we've been putting in there for a long time. And Mark Reinhardt is responsible for this. Took me out and we walked clear to the end of down to, what's that road, Harnish Road, Mark?
Harnish. Yes, Harnish.
Walked me to the end of Harnish Road, drug me up through the worst bunch of briars in the jungle.
Dragging's the key word.
Yeah, it was, there's no paths in there.
Rough.
I had 9 fish. One of them was 6 inches. The rest were from 12 to 16. All those browns are living a wonderful sheltered life in there because we found out later it's a dedicated nature preserve. And as far as we know now, you're not supposed to fish there, but there are no signs. And Mark and I are fooling around with trying to connect with the people that run this nature preserve, the Illinois Nature Preserve, dedicated, and we're not getting much response from those people. The people in Boone County, they don't have an answer for us yet either.
Yeah, I tried to contact that commissioner, left him a message. I even called down to Springfield Estate, and he said they'll contact him and have him get a hold of me. He hasn't gotten back to me.
But
So
the story is, and if you're familiar with the Kinnikinnick and where we put the fish in, you can fish above that bridge where we always put the fish in. From there to Caledonia Road, which is about a quarter mile. And they said, well, yeah, if you want to come do some work there, go ahead, but you can't do it down below. So it looks like it's a very interesting subject to deal with. And as soon as we find out some more things about it, I would really like to consider that place as a next project. What's funny is, say there are a darter and a mottled sculpin, Mark, is that correct?
as far as I know, I've been trying to contact the guy who's supposed to manage all that. I got him here on my phone somewhere. John Nelson. He's never gotten back to me, and I've tried to read everything I can on it, and I have seen nothing that says what you can do there
We don't know.
as far as any regulations.
Yeah.
You can fish above that bridge to Caledonia, but I'm trying to find out regulations. The guy says you can keep the trout. Well, I could care less about that, but it doesn't say how many or anything. I haven't gotten an answer on any of that.
Yeah. So that's the way that goes. so far, but stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Carol, have you gotten any response? None from Tim. Oh, boy. I hate to do that.
Well, you know, he sent me the link, so
What?
we're here.
And I just emailed him with the meeting invite again, so.
Okay. I texted him and I emailed him too.
Well,
He's probably out fishing.
yeah. That's a place to be.
Probably-
He's very good, but he said he might be delayed. So
Okay.
I have one more thing to show you here. And some of you know this, and I don't mean to brag, but I want to show you this winter, in the past February, I was given a Conservation Leadership Award by the Wisconsin State Council because of my work with the NLC and the Trout TU Dare project up there. But the award is a Joan and Lee Wolf Award. And in the award, there's a fly tied by Lee Wolf. I thought you'd all like to see that. I'm going to try to get this over to the wall here and without tripping too much. And see if I can't put that on there. So all right, if you look at the upper top right-hand corner, you see that big wolf fly? Can you see that?
We can see it.
Okay, good. And then there's a picture of Joan and Lee that goes with it.
Is that a picture of a fly or a real fly on there?
But that's a real fly,
Whoa,
tied by Lee Wolf. Yeah.
you
It's
haven't used it yet.
pardon me?
You haven't used it yet.
Yeah. I got a hammer to break the glass in case things are really tight. You know, try to use it. No, this whole thing has to be returned next year. It's a traveling award, so I don't get to keep that nice thing. But I've always said I'd like to share this with the chapter, and so we did. We got to a different way, and I need some other, somebody got any good stories or jokes we can tell till maybe we find Tim? Anybody had good fishing? Greg. Have we got Greg?
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
No, Jerry, this is Chris.
Oh, hi, Chris.
Since you have a bit of some time to fill here, I thought I'd maybe bring everybody up to date on our efforts in social media, and specifically in Facebook. And we have two different avenues for people to access us. One is a regular Facebook site where you can actually access it from the web. You don't have to be a member of Facebook. And we have about 150 some odd people who follow us on that. On what type of basis, I'm not sure, but they have clicked the little like button and are part of the fold for whatever that means. We do have a Facebook group, which is the Lee Wolf Facebook chapter group, which is by invitation only. So you would have to be a member of Facebook, and you would have to ask to be allowed in, and we do a very minor vetting, but we don't want anybody in there that's trying to sell things or promote a political agenda. And that one, we have 185 members. And I do, Scott, there's various people, we post original content, if not daily, certainly several times a week. And a lot of fishing reports, and then things that interest me, fly tying patterns. And things that I think are of interest to our group. And it's grown. I remember when I first said I'd try to do it, I was going to do it for 6 months or a year and try to get it up to 50. And it's just slowly grown. And, until I get too tired, I'm going to continue doing it. So anybody that's of interest, the other thing on Facebook that might be something that I'll have to talk to Pete about is that I did download all of the old pictures from all past things that I could gather from Lee Wolf. So we have on Facebook in the photograph archive things going back to members that I don't even know. So it certainly goes back to 8 or 10 years or more, and hundreds and if not thousands of photographs of events and people, and it's a history of Lee Wolf that's well worth preserving. And any new members that wanted to peruse it could get an idea of the kind of things that we do. So, and I also want to mention to people also that I went fishing with Jerry the other day with Gordon Rudd, and Jerry offers this bucket raffle at the banquets he has in the past, and it's an outing with Jerry to go fishing, and Gordon won, and turns out that the outing that Jerry offered was going to be good for 2 people, and Gordon was kind enough to ask me to tag along, and we had a wonderful time, and Jerry's wife made us a scrumptious lunch, and Jerry guided us all around, and we all caught fish, and it's something that if you have a chance, the next time that bucket raffle is available, I would highly recommend that you spend several thousands of dollars for tickets, because it's well worth the effort. And that's it. See ya.
Thank you, Chris. And Bob, you remember the day that we were on the Blue, and, we watched some shocking fish up there?
Yeah.
Brad Sims. We met Brad Sims,
Yep.
and they pulled that 17-inch trout out of the pool.
Yeah.
Tell him how big it is now, Chris.
Yeah, so Jerry told me that this was the spot right by these rocks and kind of an older lunker structure, and I hooked this fish and on a smaller nymph, and Jerry had since left me, and I didn't have a net with me, and he went to go help Gordon, and I couldn't get a good picture of the fish, but I did get it in because he was too big around on his back for me to really hold him with my hand. So he kind of squirmed away, but he was all of 18, maybe 19 inches at this
That was
point.
a big fish.
I imagine it's that same fish.
Yeah, because that was a couple of years ago when we saw that.
Right. Well, he's stocky and well fed right now.
Yeah. He's
He's
obviously growing.
I've seen that fish too. I haven't caught it, but I've seen him a couple of times.
Above the Blue River Road, yeah?
Yeah, I know right where you're talking about.
Yeah. Well,
Don't give it away, Carol.
I always throw in there, but I've never been lucky enough to catch him.
It's the first big pool above the bridge at Blue River Road, guys. You can't miss it.
It's a
and
nice-
that's now my fish, so you must all leave him alone.
And if I had my way, and I wanted to talk to Tim about this tonight, but there's no good style there on going downriver on the Blue River, at Blue River Road. Since they put the new bridge in, the fence is clear across. You have to climb over the bridge and then down through some rocks. I hope that maybe we have the chance to put in a style there this year or early next year, one of the two, because it needs one. They always had one there before. And we've always come in and sort of backed up the Harry and Laura Nohr chapter on doing some styles and doing the money to them. So we'll be glad to offer to do a style there.
The styles are really nice that you do too. They really are. We certainly appreciate them very much.
I don't know, Carol, if you've seen any of the ones the newer designed, where you kind of sit down and there's a swinging gate on the style of a 2x4, and you go through and then it closes behind you with a spring.
Okay, I haven't seen that. That sounds great.
That's a design we came up with. Um, it
Sounds
was
like a rod saver.
Walter and
I want to give 2 thumbs up to that.
Bob Becker. We all fooled around with how to do it, but Fred's seen them, right?
So one of my favorite spots outside Coon Valley is one of the places that was installed last year.
Yes.
And there are just a ton of fish there. So anybody that was on that job knows exactly where it is. And man, just a ton of fish. So
And there's also one
Jerry?
by the church that doesn't have any fence around it anymore.
yeah. That
Jerry?
never had much luck at that place, but yeah, that style made a huge difference too. I think the people that live around there appreciate that it's much easier for the fishermen to get in and out and not damage things. So yeah, that's a great style. That is an amazing
Hey,
design.
The
Jerry?
I
Jerry?
put one in.
Jerry?
I see.
Jerry?
Hi, Tim.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Sorry, my daughter went into labor about an hour ago, and I got caught up in that.
Well, we understand that.
Ah, boy or a girl?
It's going to be a girl,
Oh, okay, good.
first grandchild.
Congratulations, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Tim, are
Um,
you going to be able to do the program, or are you on your
yeah.
cell?
Oh, yeah. I'm fine. When something like that happens, all of a sudden you focus on that and you forget everything else
You
going
gotta be
on.
there. We understand totally. Well, we've had a good old time just talking here tonight. So.
Yeah. One of the problems with the styles you were talking about is the DNR up here doesn't like them in areas that hold cattle or horses, because the horses will come in and eat the gate open. It's been the prior experience. But, we can work with Brad.
Oh, yeah,
And,
we'll do it your
um,
way. No problem.
Yeah, because there is that one style. You guys did that style on the new work and what I call the horse pasture on Bowers Road.
Powers.
And that's been holding up real well.
Okay.
So anyways, I'm here. I have the presentation if you're ready. And
We are ready.
again, I apologize.
No, don't apologize for what you just told us. Congratulations.
So if you see me jump up and run to my phone, you'll know what's going on.
All right, Scott and Kim, I'll let you guys take it away and do your thing and get him hooked up. There's Tim. Good.
Tim, do you just want to share your screen or do you want to be the host?
Why don't we do it like we talked about and let me be the host?
Okay. You are the host.
Okay, and I think I still got to do,
Share your
Start.
screen.
yeah, share, there it
Yeah.
is.
And I'm going to mute everybody else for right now. Well, actually, I can't anymore because he's the host.
Oh, there we are.
So this is a map we put together a couple years ago using the GPS coordinates and started mapping our work. And what we've got here is we've got 15 years of work, and I'll go through it a little bit. If everybody can see my pointer, this is our 3 counties that we're responsible for in Wisconsin. This yellow stuff is the Blue River and its tributaries. So when you look at that map and you see all the trout water, and then you see the Blue River, how little the Blue River looks on all these tributaries. But starting out, I'll go down here and I'll zoom in here a little bit, but In 2001, I gotta find. In 2001, up here on Big Spring was our first project. And now that 2001 area is, it's now under a beaver study. If you park to walk into the Big Spring, it's a beaver study area that we're doing. But you can see here, we worked a little bit on Big Spring, and then we took a break, and then we did some stuff in 2007, 2008. This little red mark here by the winery, the DNR tried to do that, and they tried to change the course of the stream too much, so it was really steep. And the 100-year flood, or the 100-year rain event of 2011 washed it all out. And then our work, I think everybody's that's fished this area is familiar with, from 2009. That's where, right about where the 2 is here, there's a big, there's a set of pine trees and a cottonwood, and you can park there. And it's best to fish that if you're fishing it in the morning or late evening. But the news we had on that is, through all the 100-year rains we've had the last 10 years, this work is held. And all of our work is actually held that we did. So jumping back down to the Blue River, this is Blue River Road right here. And we started here in 2004. We went up from and then we came down from the Blue River. This is a landowner here that we didn't care for TU. So we said, oh, that's fine. We'll just start here. 2001. This was right here is where one of our Steve Carpenter's land, and everything in yellow is eased. But Steve Carpenter is a world-renowned limologist that he's retired now, but he taught out of the UW. So we got started there. The landowner liked what he saw above him on Steve's land, so we did it. The landowner this is Bronson Creek. It's turned into quite the rookery for trout. And we did that in 2009. 2006, this is what I call the hayfield. There's a spring that comes in right here. And then in 2009, we did Upper Snow Bottom. And then we did below Snow Bottom. We did that in 2010. This little green section, the landowner raises pheasants, dogs, and pheasants. He didn't want to wreck the land for his pheasant training. And then in 2017, we did what we were just talking about, the horse pasture. And this is on the old plat maps, this is called Indian Springs. And we did a little work there. For it serves also as a breeding area. And this work was supposed to be done in early 2000 or late 2017. It was supposed to be finished in 2018. We just seeded it about 3 weeks ago. So it's done. We got it done before the rains and stuff. So, but it is done. It's taken us 3 years. We've had 3 years of when we start to work on it, we get rained out. The 2017 and the 2019 stuff here, you won't see on the DNR maps, along with this 2015 stuff on Big Rock, because these are Trout Unlimited easements that we purchased. Then we started, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Shimmick Road. We started Shimmick Road in 2013, 2014, 2016, 2019, we finished it all the way down to Beaver Road. A lot of this was used by NCRS money and donations from other chapters and private individuals. So when Big Spring runs into 6 Mile, it becomes 6 Mile. So in 2011, if you guys have driven up there, there's an old homestead up there that's all run down. And the road going back to the gate is eased on Stanick Road. And then right here where the work ends and goes up is also eased. This landowner and this landowner were related. In 2012, this little stretch right here, it looked like in the 30s, somebody took a backhoe and made a straight line ditch for drainage out of the creek. So we restored that. And then it continues on down. This landowner here that's green, we're talking to for in the future. This work here this is Highway Q. We're about halfway done with it this year. Unfortunately, we thought we were going to be done when I made the map. And this is suffering. This is a lowlands area. So we have to be real careful when we're in there. But I drove by it last Friday, and he's got one side of the creek done, and he's starting down the southern side of the creek. And if anybody's got any questions, just let me know. So starting later this fall, we're going to go from here all the way down into here somewhere. This is the Blue River. So it's where 6 Mile meets the Blue. That is, to date, that is going to be the most land we've attempted to restore under one easement. And it's about 1.5 miles of stream. And as usual, it goes back up this way a little bit, and then the landowner here has also contacted our project director. So we've got a lot of stuff out there for the coming years. But that's just kind of a little bit of the blue. And then we have an inset, and I'll tell you a quick story about this. This is kind of funny.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is Jerry. Do you want to explain what the NRC funds are? I know most people don't understand that.
That is the National Soil.
National Regional?
Yeah, it's national. It's the National Soil Conservation. It used to be the National Soil Conservation, and they put resources in there.
Yeah, National Resources.
Yeah. What it is, it's a government funded program. We've been using it for years because in here, like for instance, in Grant County, the Grant County agent for the NRCS loves our work, likes our designs. He takes our designs and enhances them. And it's, we're fortunate that TU Dare went out and got extra farm funding, and we're using it. When they did the farm bill, this region got, I think it was 9.5 million. Does that sound right, Jerry?
9.1, I believe.
Yeah. So we're using it. We're not, we're trying to use it. And what we do is we act as the agent, and then the NRCS gives the landowner a check for their portion of the work, and the landowner signs the check over to us and we pay the contractor. At the same time, we work with the small towns to work on their phosphate abatement. Munford, us and the town of Munford have become a real partner in the phosphate abatement rules and stuff. So, I mean, they're a great partner. The farmers like it because they're getting government money.
Yeah, a little bit, let me say what I know about phosphate abatement rules. It's becoming a more and more widely used source of funds because smaller towns are going to have to put in enormous amounts of money to their sewage system plants to eliminate phosphates that they're putting out. Or they can come back and they can put a little bit of money into streams restoration, which abates a lot of the phosphorus runoff from the farm fields. It's much cheaper to do the stream restoration than to upgrade their sewer plants. And their sewer plants cost millions of dollars, whereas the money that goes to TU and to Tim's people and people like it is a lot cheaper to get it done and gets the soil runoff cut down, and that's all the government cares about, what happens at the end. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. And we have a great, I'll just put it this way, we have a great partnership with the city of Munford. They're one of our bigger supporters. They like to work with our landowners and they like the results. So every year, our project manager and myself sit down and we fill out a form that we did this work in this area and stuff. But this is Bora Creek on my map. And in 2017, the guy that owns the cabin, I think it's Serendipity Cabin that you can stay at. And the cabin is, yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
He owned the bottom and we got to talking, and this is all eased. Actually, it's eased all the way back to almost back in here somewhere, but it's kind of a jungle up here where my pointer's at. But we went out, and one of the few times our chapter had an actual real work day. And our contractor showed up with his, on his front end loader, he has a saw. Basically, he debrushed everything for us. We put it in a pile, and the 10 old men that were around started it on fire. That was our job. And he also pulled out some logs that he thought would make good deflectors in other projects. But the fire was so big on it that the whole town of Lancaster over here, it's kind of like right here at the bottom of the map, the whole town of Lancaster, pretty much everybody in town at one time or another come out to see what was burning. So, but that's just our little area we've done on Bora Creek. It was done in the late 70s, early 80s by doing, at the time, their restoration, what they did was called dump and run. And basically they backed a truck up with rock and dumped it alongside of the edges of the stream. And if the rock rolled in the stream, that was good. And that was it. They were gone. So we went in and tapered the banks, set it up, Just below the road here is where our trout in the classroom get released. Is we went out and bought the certified disease-free eggs, and they raise them and they dump them right here. And as you can see, the Rogers branch comes in with Bora and forms the Grant River. And this is Klondike Park, if you guys have ever been to Klondike Park. But it's eased now, and the DNR is doing some projects on it. But I think all the way up to where it makes this big bend, and all the way down here by Quarry Road or Pilot Knob Road, that's all eased. And the DNR chose to do that project. But the big thing I wanted to show you guys is the work we're doing on the blue. You know, we've done 15.5 miles in 15 years. And just show this map, show it around. We can talk about access points. Just anybody's got a question, let them fly.
Tim, I know I've fished 6 Mile Branch, and that is some really neat looking stream over there. And it looks like when you're coming along that road, there's not much in the way of access points to it. Are there any places special on 6 Mile that you know?
Well,
I know of one, but I don't know any more.
right here on the bend where my hand is on this,
Yeah.
there is an easement along that fence to the road. And you can fish upstream from that easement. Downstream is still private. It's kind of a jungle. You can't even wade it and keep your boots wet. We're hoping he comes around.
That's off Stanek Road?
Yes.
Okay, I see it.
And then up here, let me zoom in here a little bit.
Yeah, zoom in would help. That's better.
Right in here, this green spot is an old homestead.
Yes, I know it.
And there's a farmer's trail on the east end of the homestead down to a gate, and that's your easement there. And make sure you close the gate. Keep an eye out here. Come August and September, he'll put a bunch of heifers and a bull in there sometimes. And you know, it's his land. We can't do anything about that. And then the other easement point is right here is a spring. Up around the bend, you go, there's a bridge right there. It's real thin water here, but it's a breeding area. But you can walk down that spring bank to get to that's eased also. And most farmers in this valley, they don't mind as long as, you know, you close, if the gate was closed when you got there, leave it closed, et cetera, et cetera. And then this part of 6 Mile is actually by the bridge. You access that by the bridge.
Okay, great.
And then our stuff here, this is Big Spring. Our stuff ends here, but the DNR did a bunch of work long ways down this, but I didn't put the DNR work on our map. This map is still an ongoing project.
And can you go to where the winery is?
Yeah, the winery is right here.
Well, that's a good area to access too, right by there, if I remember.
Yeah.
Correctly.
If you fish up, this is Pine Tree Road. That little white spot is the winery. If you fish up from there, the DNR would like you to keep some browns. Because what we found is up here higher on Big Spring, there's what they call heritage brook trout in there, which is their DNA is unique to that stream. So
Really?
we're trying to protect them a little bit. But I know when my girlfriend wants a meal of fish, this is where I go. And if it's,
Water there too.
yeah, it's thin, it's a little thinner than you're probably used to, but let's just say Friday, the Browns were cooperative and we had a fish dinner Friday night. So, any other questions? Geez, everybody's so quiet.
Yeah, this is your chance to pick his brain. I'd like Tim to talk about, if nobody's asking questions, about upstream from Snow Bottom. In that first section where it's so weedy, it in August, September, July, August, September. Is there any chance that someday, if the Driftless Habitat crew gets going, we could get in there and clean that out for you?
One thing our chapter does is we sponsor an intern with the University of Wisconsin Platteville.
Mhm.
And what's really neat about it is they test all our areas before and after, and they give us fish counts and, you know, is the water quality slipping. The section you're talking about, Jerry, on Snow Bottom, right here, last time they surveyed that, there was more trout per mile than anywhere else on the Blue River except down here at Carpenter's. And they were supposed to sample the weeds and find out what weeds are invasive, because weeds are good for trout, and we don't want to pull anything that's going to hurt the trout. But yeah, that was, to answer your question, Jerry, that was one of my thoughts, is to go in there and take care of the invasive species.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah. Did you ever think about burning in there?
Landowner doesn't want us to burn.
Okay.
It's he pastures it. There is cattle in there. You know, there's the bridge by the road, and then the next bridge up, after the next fence up and crossing, there is cattle in there.
Yes.
And that's probably part of the reason it's weedy. But and it's changed ownership since we purchased it. Where we got the DNR got the easement. But yeah, we're looking at stuff like that. A couple other projects. We're talking to various biologists and stuff, is up there in the horse pasture up here. We're talking to maybe trying to plant some some bur oak to get a little shade. But, you know, we got to figure out how big a sapling can we get, what kind of cover we get it so the horses, the cattle, and the deer don't eat it before it has a chance to grow up. But we are researching that, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Kim, I just want to say that after the Snow Bottom going up to everybody, never fish that. Even though that first 2,000 yards is weedy, once you hit that horse pasture, cow pasture up above the first fence, that's some of the most beautiful stream, I think, in the Midwest.
Yeah, we call it the land that time forgot.
It is. And it's just, you guys did such a beautiful job with it in preserving it and making it. But I mean, it's trouty as trouty can be. And it's just gorgeous up there. There's big boulders that roll down off of the hillsides, off the cliffs into the stream. And they provide a lot of habitat that way too, just naturally.
No,
Yeah, and
that's
one of my,
favorite areas, Jerry.
I love it. And you can walk from Snow Bottom clear to Bluff Road if you have two guys, and you park one guy in Bluff and one in Snow Bottom, and you can walk up to the car and then come back down. And,
yeah, what
it's a long,
I've spent many times, I'll park at Snow Bottom. One of my friends will park at Bowers Road, and then we'll meet in the middle and go one way or the other depending on who's catching fish.
yeah,
But that stretch between Snow Bottom and Bower Road is a great day fish.
yeah. And back in there where you don't have the easement, that gentleman doesn't mind if you fish it, doesn't?
Which area are you talking about? This is above Bluff Road or Bower Road, this easement here. And he's kind of indifferent. On some days he lets you fish it and he knows the wet foot law. And then there's other days where he's grouchy.
No, I was talking about if we go back to Snow Bottom crossing, Tim,
Yeah.
and if you went downstream,
Yeah, this green area here,
yes,
that's actually east.
oh, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, all the way to Bluff.
it's not work, but there's awfully large holes in that area for the big fish hang out.
Yeah, what it is that's the guy that raises the pheasant dogs.
Yeah.
And he uses that for his pheasant area, and he thinks it'll detract from him if we do some work in there.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful piece of stream that hasn't been worked, and I can't wait till you get permission to work it.
Yeah, we've been trying since 2010. So, but yeah, it is. I like that area. When I see that people are going up at Snow Bottom, I'll go down in there and mess around.
Yeah, yes.
Hey, Tim, that area north of Bowers Road, how much of that stream is done? Is that a mile of stream there?
Yeah, pretty much, because the Snow Bottom natural area sits right here. And when we did it, the biologists got us some of our trout stamp money. And we just went ahead and went all the way to the end of the state land. And I fished that a week ago Sunday before the storm, because I wanted to see how the seed was doing. And once that seeding gets placed and it thickens up, the seeding in there thickens up, that's going to be a great place. We don't really like people in there walking after a rainstorm because they crush our seeding.
Bob, I've seen it, and it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of work.
I know. I remember when they were first starting it, and it was pretty overgrown, but it looks like it sounds like it's going to be really nice.
Yeah, they tapered the banks. We haven't lost any structuring or flood damage for the last 3 big rains we had.
That's good.
I will caution everybody, where this ends here, you'll see a sign that says land owned by MDT Ranching Company. The best bet is just to stay out of there. He doesn't like trespassers. He doesn't believe in the wet foot rule. And I don't want to be an example. So, but he owns, like, from where Big Spring comes in here all the way up. And we just encourage people just stay out. And he actually went in and hired our contractor with his private funds to do a bunch of work in there because he was worried about runoff. But he didn't want us to ease it. And the story behind it is we had an easement with the DNR here about 6-7 years ago, probably closer to 10 now. And the DNR changed their policy on easements. And the guy they hired was not buying any easements. And he told the landowner this. And this is after he had an agreement to ease it, and we were going to work on it. And the DNR started playing games with him, so he just pulled the easement. You know, things settle down. Maybe I can get in there with the TU easement, but I'm not sure yet. So there's a little history there. You know, that's about the best way to put it. There's some history there, and we just kind of encourage people don't challenge the law there. That's not a good spot to challenge the law.
We at Lee Wolf know about that kind of history. We had a problem too back in the early or late 90s that we lost what we'd done. So, Tim, does anybody have some more questions? We're still open here.
If you guys got questions later on, feel free to email me. Jerry has my email, Scott has my email, or it's grizzly, like the bear, 8589@gmail.com.
Tim, will you send this map to me so I can have it available for people?
Sure.
Like, and I will, if they request it from me, I will email it out to them.
I will tell you it's big.
Okay.
And I don't know if some people get it, some people don't.
Well, we'll see.
And it usually deals with your email provider.
Okay.
Just a couple quick notes on this area right here that we're getting ready to do. You can see that from Q. And we're going to be taking on down here when we did this portion of Shemmack Road, this 2016 portion. We took on some banks that were 16 feet high from leftover from bad farming practices. Jake and I, our project director, we think we've got some 20 footers in here.
Oh my.
But the farmers like that when we take that dirt out and they offer to come and get it because they like to put it on their fields because it's, you know, basically it's runoff since the 1880s, and it's really nutrient rich. It's like in the biblical days when they let the Nile flood so it would bring the nutrients out into the farmer's field along the Nile. This stuff here is really, this dirt we've been getting is nutrient rich. And I can tell you right here on 6 Mile, as we finish that other side, as we finish the south facing bank, we have farmers lining up for the dirt. Landowner gets it first, and then he can designate other landowners to come and get some if he wants. And we've never had a problem getting rid of the dirt we pull.
That's interesting. All right. Well, I thank you, Tim, for what you've done tonight for us, and especially in the circumstances you appeared under duress, and I appreciate you making the effort to be with us. So
yeah, about the only text I've got is from I have 2 mothers, and they both been texting me wanting to know if I got any new information.
So we'll let you go and we'll close off the meeting here.
Okay, and like I said, if you got questions, feel free to email me. I will tell you, I am not real sharp on the easements.
Okay.
Access is from the roads. But like we were talking about 6 Mile, I know 6 Mile because I've used them.
Okay, that sounds good.
Tim, congratulations on your new granddaughter.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
have a feeling I'm not going to get much sleep till I get the text. You know, in the world we live in today, I can't even go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But I kind of told my daughter that be prepared yesterday because she was telling me what kind of a foul mood she was in and not feeling well. And I told her, I said, I'd be watching for contractions because that's how your mother was. And that's how my mother told me she was. So.
Yeah, my daughter had a baby girl a month ago, and they weren't sure if they were going to let her husband in at first. But they opened up enough to where now they're allowing just fathers to go in along with the moms.
Yeah, that was up here. That was part of Dane County going to phase 2 as the fathers got to go into the delivery.
That's good.
Or I should say designated partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too politically correct, Tim.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll email you this, Jerry, and it changes. It'll change every year, but this
Sure.
will certainly share it with your chapter members.
I will be glad to do that. And,
Thanks a lot, Tim.
They can
Okay.
get,
All right. Do I have to do anything to give it back to you, Scott?
Yeah, if you want to click on my name and make me host, but otherwise we can just end it if we're done. So,
Okay.
but otherwise, click on my name and make me host again.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Tim,
Take
thank
care,
you.
Tim.
Thanks.
Appreciate it very much.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Okay, it was fun for us in a trying time. Well, that about wraps it up for tonight. And if anybody has any questions before we go, I'll entertain anything else you have.
Yeah, Jerry,
Yeah.
you'd ask if anybody had any suggestions on meetings or what we might do. Is there any information come out of national yet? Ideas on what we might do?
For the TU or for the Trout in the Classroom?
Well, for meetings, you know.
For meetings? No, they are a little bit about national. They're in the middle of reworking a lot of the website. And I was on a call tonight with National Tuesday, and there are changes coming to the website, and they're only going to be needed to log in for leaders only. That's why some of the troubles you were having, Jerry, getting logged in. And things are changing quite rapidly on this website. So a lot of the stuff you can't even get into right now, Gordon, because they're changing it. But there are no definite spaces that they're talking about meeting, other than don't meet till everything is clear. So I think this is going to be a future for quite a while. We get a vaccine out there.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, kind of get used to it, guys. And I thought this went pretty well for the first go round. I hope we see some more people next time. But I appreciate everybody being here. And I thank Scott very much for conducting this and helping me out and getting it started. It went well, Scott. Better than I expected. I thought I'd screw it up somewhere. But we got it, and we got some extra people on. And hi, Betsy. I haven't said hello to you. So we're about, all I know is I think I'll try this again in August and let everybody know what's going on at that point. And we'll probably be working some styles then, so we'll get that information out. So Carol, Fred, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Hope you figured out something to do for your chapter on this and how it went. And we rent Scott out for high amounts of money, for donations to the chapter.
Well, thank you very much. I don't think we have high amounts of money, but we're enthusiastic.
All right. Well, I'd like to say good night and thanks for being on and your patience tonight, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
I-
This was great. Thank you.
In August, I hope. Tim,
Bye, Colorado, guys.
Nice.
congratulations again.
yeah,
Thank you.
And I'll
Seeing you, Bob.
reach out, Scott.
Okay, anytime you guys want to do this, we can set it up, so.
Okay, perfect. I love it. Good night, Jerry.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, Jerry. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Night. If I